so you know how those lids on the Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid? So that was that conversation.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Cackling Kamala Harris, who we all know has basically been campaigning in her basement outside of a few rallies that she holds across the country where she says the same thing over and over and over and over again, okay? And she is currently doing debate prep in the basement, preparing for the debate that she's going to have on Tuesday against Trump. And she decided to come out of the basement to do a totally not staged, but obviously staged event at an anti-Republican spice shop.
On to take a listen, everyone.
Understand. I'm pretty sure you know.
Oh, it's gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna be fine.
We are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Thank you so much.
Huh? Yeah. Did you get some spices today?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We're standing strong, right? We love our country, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who's this? This is a relative of yours or just a new friend?
It's a new friend.
Hi.
I'm a
Georgia?
lawyer in Pittsburgh here, and I just admire your work so much.
Good for you. What kind of law you practice?
Consumer protection.
Good for you.
I'm protecting consumers.
Good for you. You know, that's the work I did as AG.
Yes,
That's good stuff.
Yes.
That's really good. Of course. Come on. Let's do it. Come on.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. Someone take it. I did not get it. Can someone take it for me, please?
Who are the yellow jackets? Come here.
They're my school.
They're your school? What school is that?
Freeport.
Freeport? What's your name?
Charlotte.
Nice to meet you, Charlotte. I'm Kamala. Are you cooking also? What are you doing here? Or did you bring an adult with you? Or are you just hanging out?
How are you?
Can I have a hug?
Yes, come here. Of course. Aww.
Yeah, so obviously staged, okay? We've covered stories about how manufactured Kamala Harris's campaign is, okay? It is the least authentic campaign that I've ever seen, right? I mean, there's stories about her kicking out dining customers at restaurants in order to bring in her own paid actors in order to pretend to be normal people eating at a restaurant before she walks in, right? For a surprise visit, right? An off-the-cuff visit. Same thing is happening here with this anti-Republican spice shop that openly calls Republicans racist. So all of the people who were in the spice shop at the time that Kamala made her off-the-cuff visit, right, as she's taking a break from debate prep, they were probably already Trump deranged, hardcore leftists, right? Probably hardcore Democrats. So again, this wasn't Kamala popping up to some random shop and, oh my God, all of these people love Kamala, okay? They are so excited to see her. No. That's not what happened, right? These people openly do not want to serve Republicans. They have a whole About Republicans page on their website where they talk about how terrible Republicans are, right? So this shop is not a place where any Republicans will be. So is anybody really surprised that Kamala Harris can't even go out in public anywhere where there might be a Trump supporter out of fear that a Trump supporter might ruin their staged event, right? I'm just saying, okay? That's how manufactured this campaign is, okay? But Kamala Harris did get asked a couple questions in which it seems as if she forgot her script or the answers that she's supposed to give to these questions as she got confronted on Liz and Dick Cheney endorsing her for president of the United States, in which she says that she is honored to have more dicks in her life. Take a look.
Actually, I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party. And I'm honored to have their support, and I think it's an important statement right now. A lot of what I think is happening, and I was just talking with some folks here in Pittsburgh about it, is that people are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans. And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us.
Yeah, so while Kamala Harris is welcoming the endorsement of neocons like Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney being the most unpopular vice president ever until Kamala Harris broke his record, okay? And Liz Cheney, who lost her primary race, got absolutely blown out. Again, some of the most unpopular Republicans ever, right? The Democrat Party, this is now the party of Liz and Dick Cheney. Okay, this is the direction of the modern day Democrat Party. It tells you everything that you need to know about what you're voting for when you vote for somebody like Kamala Harris.
I have a very simple message for my Democrat friends, my independent friends, those who may not be sure about who they're voting for in this election. Dick Cheney has just made the choice very clear. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Dick Cheney, the architect of everything that has gone wrong in the Middle East for the last few decades. And so it's interesting because if you listen to the New York Times or some of the other mainstream media, they're saying, don't expect much from Kamala Harris in the way of policies and details and plans, and we're not going to know much about what kind of president she's going to be because she doesn't have much time. They're conveniently ignoring the fact that she's been there working in the White House the last 3.5 years alongside Joe Biden. She's been the last one in the room, according to her, as these big decisions are being made. But we look at who she says, her response to the Dick Cheney announcement today was that she was honored.
Here's in part what he said, quote, "In our nation's 248-year history, there's never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump." What would you say to Vice President Cheney in response to that?
My first response is I really don't care what he thinks. Secondarily, if you look at the way Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have led the current administration, they suppressed the free speech of the American people. It was the Biden campaign that lied to the world during the last presidential election, using the intelligence agencies and 51 intelligence officers to lie about the laptop from hell. That's something the Biden campaign did. They lied about all the impacts using the COVID-19 vaccine. They tried to use OSHA to mandate 80 million Americans getting that vaccine. They fired over 10,000 soldiers from our military over the same situation. And right now we have a situation where Kamala Harris has lied to the world about the health and mental capabilities of Joe Biden. So you put all that together, and then you have this statement from Dick Cheney. I'm going to look at what's actually been happening with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the threat they are to democracy, not what Dick Cheney's saying.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of similarities between Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney. Not just that both of them are bloodthirsty warmongers, okay? They definitely have that in common. That is the main reason why Liz and Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris, because they know that they're going to get more war under Kamala, right? She's not going to rock the boat when it comes to the agenda, right? And also on top of that, Liz Cheney seems to be woke as hell.
Questions. If you were advising Kamala Harris going into this debate on, I guess, Monday or Tuesday, with Donald Trump, he's not a fun or easy guy to debate, obviously. How do you think she should proceed?
Yeah. Look, I think that, every opportunity that Donald Trump gets to show the American people who he is, he pretty clearly, and look, his running mate is doing this too. I mean, this is my diplomatic way of saying it. They're misogynistic pigs. Mm-hmm. And
speaking of debate prep, Kamala Harris was also confronted on debate prep because, she was taking a break, and it seems as if her brain went into a mini malfunction. She didn't really know what to say when asked about her favorite part of debate prep. She just kind of made something up, and what was a rare off-the-cuff moment in which you kind of see why Kamala Harris doesn't often have off-the-cuff moments, because they typically go like this.
President, are you ready to face Donald Trump?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Best part of debate prep for you? What's your favorite?
Being at the spice store, I finally got out of the debate prep to look at these spices. Best part of debate prep so far.
Yeah, so clearly Kamala Harris is not feeling very confident. I mean, anybody can see her body language suggests that she was very uncomfortable having to answer these questions off the cuff, even though these were softball questions. How's debate prep going? You can see the weakness on her face, okay? She can't even handle a simple question about how is the debate prep going, okay? What's your favorite part of debate prep? Spices, right? I'm buying these spices, okay? Clearly, she has some anxiety issues, and quite honestly, I think she's just making it worse on herself, considering how she's doing everything staged, right? Everything has to have a script, okay? It has to be like a movie, lights, camera, action. So when you have to be a regular person, when you have to be normal, now all of a sudden it's not something that you're used to, and you're thinking too much about how people are going to react. I mean, it is clear as day what is happening to Kamala Harris, and I really do think on a debate stage, when she's face-to-face with Trump, who I believe she's actually afraid of, right? I believe she's actually really afraid of Trump, like physically afraid of Trump. And I think she's going to have a very hard time hiding it. And part of the reason why is because there's a lot of pressure on her to perform, okay? Because the liberal media is telling us that, hey, Kamala Harris is this big, bad, tough black woman prosecutor who knows Trump's type, right? She has been preparing for moments like this her whole career, according to MSNBC.
Simone, we know that debates can have consequences, as we've seen.
Yeah, they matter.
They do matter. Do you think this debate will move the needle in this very close election?
Yes. Debates matter. Look, all these strategists out here saying debates don't really matter, they don't really move the needle. Poppycock, they're lying to you. Debates do matter. And if you don't think debates matter, a month and a half ago, Joe Biden was the Democratic nominee. And one could argue without that debate performance, we will be talking about the Biden-Harris campaign and not the Harris-Walz campaign. So given that, I think my experience with the vice president, I was a part of her debate prep team in 2020 when she did her the vice presidential debate between she and then Vice President Mike Pence. My experience with the vice president is she is definitely someone who is, you know, she preps like she would prep for a court case. She's a prosecutor. And so I think she has carried that process over that she established in the DA's office, then in the Attorney General's office, to when she was a United States Senator. She prepped for those hearings, and she brought that into definitely the campaign apparatus and in the White House when I worked for her there. So standing next to a person who is not he is not well at speaking about policy in depth.
So the last time Donald Trump was on the debate stage with a woman, there was a lot of talk about, you know, perhaps quote unquote stalking Hillary Clinton. What do you think the vibe is going to be? Like, how is he going to approach dealing with this woman on stage, his new opponent? And how is she going to respond to what can in some cases feel like intimidation from this candidate?
Well, I am quite positive that the advisors to Donald Trump have counseled him against leaving his podium.
Will he listen?
That is the question on the. If he approaches you, it is a now Donald.
Like in the club.
Like in the club. It's like a now Donald. Will you please back up so I may finish answering the question?
Well, so this debate.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that, okay? MSNBC is already building in excuses for why their tough prosecutor, Kamala Harris, is going to be looking intimidated and scared on stage, which she will when she finally meets Trump face to face, which she has not done yet. That will be the first time in her life meeting Trump face to face. She is going to be shook, okay? I'm telling you, on the inside, right? And here's the crazy part about this, okay? And I think this is part of the reason why the debate sunk Joe Biden. It's not just because of what he said, but it's because of what he looked like. Okay, everybody could see what Joe Biden looked like. And because there was not a crowd, there was nothing there to really distract, right? People just kind of saw Joe Biden in a very raw format, right? Where there was no distractions, no crowd, no nothing. You're just looking at the guy and he looked old and decrepit, right? I think that Kamala Harris is going to experience the same problem. She's going to look weak and intimidated and afraid, okay? That is what's going to happen, okay? Especially considering how she's gonna have to talk, okay? She is not gonna have the live mic. She's not gonna be able to get the strong black woman moment that so desperately everybody wants her to get, okay? She's not gonna be able to rely on that, no, okay? She's not gonna be able to get away with the cheap tricks. She's gonna have to stand on her own 2 feet, and I don't think that she can. I really don't, okay? Especially considering how she doesn't have her emotional support, white man Tim Walz, beside her in order to guide her through it, okay? And you have some people like Vivek Ramaswamy coming out and making predictions that something crazy will happen if Kamala Harris happens to lose this debate. Take a look.
One thing I want to caution against, Sean, is exactly what happened in June. What I expect is that Donald Trump will once again run circles around Kamala Harris, just as he did with Joe Biden in that last debate. The question is that going to be good for us in winning this election or not? Because last time around, it was the catalyst for something drastic happening afterwards, which was in that case swapping out Joe Biden as the nominee. And I think if Kamala Harris really does tank in this debate, and I think there's a decent chance that happens, I think there are strange things that could happen between now and November, because the Democrats, they have been playing this as, in some ways, one step ahead.
You're suggesting that we may live through another change in candidates if she didn't have a good debate?
No, I don't think it's going to be a change in the candidates. The ballots have already been printed, but I do think that we have a machine that we're up against that has demonstrated that it is going to go to great measures to defeat Donald Trump. You trace this back over the last year and a half. You've got prosecutions. You've got civil cases. You've got extrajudicial attempts to remove him from the ballot. They told us Joe Biden was definitively going to be the nominee, then negotiated for the earliest ever presidential debate in U.S. history because they knew there was a good chance Biden would underperform. Once he did, they swapped him out. I think we've got to learn from those lessons, Sean, to say that they're still going to have many more tricks up their sleeve. So the two scenarios are either Kamala Harris overperforms. I don't expect that to happen. Or what I do expect to happen is Donald Trump to seriously defeat her in this debate as he did last time around. But don't expect that to be the end of this election. I think there's going to be more tricks left up their sleeve.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what tricks Vivek Ramaswamy is getting at, but I wouldn't be surprised what Democrats do if Kamala Harris tanks in this debate. I think there's a good chance that she will, okay? But also at the same time, the expectations for her are very high, right? And the reason why they're very high is because, again, they've been selling Kamala Harris as this strong, experienced prosecutor who can make the case against Trump. And I think that she's definitely feeling the pressure, okay? 100% feeling the pressure. And she's going to have to have a decisive victory over Trump, okay? If she does not have a decisive victory, like an undisputed victory, the type of victory that Trump got over Joe Biden, right? To the point where nobody could contest that Trump won that debate, that Joe Biden definitely lost. I mean, even MSNBC was admitting it the night of, right? Full-blown panic. If she doesn't have that type of night versus Trump, where she just absolutely dominates, it's an L, right? It's an L. It's going to hurt her. I think it's going to take her campaign. And the reason why is because, again, the liberal media has told us that, hey, she's this prosecutor. She knows Trump's type. She said, say it to my face at the debate, all this and that, right? She was talking big game, okay? Also, on top of that, the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats now, they're running with this narrative that, well, Trump is mentally declining, okay? And that he's not coherent and that he's old, right? So if Kamala Harris cannot decisively beat a almost 80-year-old man in a debate, I think that's going to be a bad look. I think it's going to be a very, very, very bad look, okay? I think that all the pressures on Kamala Harris, Trump just has to put up a decent performance, and it's a W for him, 100%. If Trump puts up a decent performance, it doesn't have to be an all-time great performance, okay? It doesn't have to be Trump versus the GOP in 2015, 2016, right? Or versus Hillary. He doesn't have to put up that type of performance. But if he can get somewhat close, right? It's a victory for him, 100%. 100%. The pressure's on Kamala. Kamala has to have a decisive victory. And I think she knows that. I think she knows that because you can look at the way they're carrying themselves, right? They're protecting her. They're not letting her make mistakes. Clearly, they care about what people think, right? They want her to appear to be perfect. So when you do that, what happens is that when Kamala actually does make a mistake, it becomes a lot more noticeable because people aren't used to it, right? Trump can do whatever. He can say whatever. Even if he makes a mistake, it doesn't matter because people are used to it, right? People know, okay, this is who he is, right? With Kamala, she doesn't have that, okay? Because she's been hiding too much. And I think that the basement strategy ultimately will backfire, and I think that it's going to backfire on the debate stage. And I think part of the reason why is because Kamala is going to have too much pressure on herself. And because she's rusty, because she doesn't really have that experience going back and forth like Trump, I think that she's going to struggle. I really do. I really do. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.